A society without envy is a society without competition. And a society without competition is a society without choice. But a society without choice is a society without progress. Pardon me. We're still on the contents in the Quran. After reading the appendix 7, probably that's the last appendix. We're now going to Surah Al Humaza. Al Humaza is the scandal monger. Mm. Humaza, let me see precisely what is written here. 104. Yes, the scandal monger. I said monger. Pardon me. Mm. It's a scandal monger. Uh, Introduction and summary can be found on page 209. Mm. Then under it, scandal, comma, backbiting, comma, miserliness, mm, tight-fistedness. I would call tight-fistedness, miserliness. Sorry, scandal, comma, backbiting, comma, and miserliness. I would rather say and tight-fistedness. Mm. Then we have test and news on page 2010 to 2011, and the signs being sign 1 to sign 9. Next, we have uh, Alfile. Alfile, the camel. Let's see, Alfile 10. No, rather elephant, sorry. Mhm. After Humaza, we go to 107, the elephant. Alfile, the elephant. uh, Introduction and summary can be found on page 2010. Then under it we have early power battles in vain. Early power battles in vain against sacred things. Semicolon. Abraha's army. Text and notes, sign 1 to 5, can be found on page 2013. ألم تر كيف فعل بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. Just short like that, 5 verses. So Abraham was the one who went to Mecca with his troops on elephant backs to fight, and he was pelted with baked clay. Mm, That's spiritual, highly spiritual. The next subject is Quraysh. That's the Quraysh people, the people of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Introduction can be found on page 2014. Then under it, security and prosperity should make men grateful in the service of God, semicolon. Lesson for the Quraysh. Text and notes can be found in signs 1 to 4, even shorter than the Al-Fili. And this can be found on 2015. We now go to Surah Al-Ma'un. Surah Al-Ma'un. And Surah Al-Ma'un is 2107. That's neighborly needs. Neighborly needs. That's Surah Al-Ma'un. Every good believer has to be very accommodating to his or her neighbors, whoever they are. They may be Christians, they may be Jews, they be good to them, they will be good to you. Be kind to them when they are in need. So that's Ma'ud. Introduction and summary can be found on page 2009. Under it, scandal, backbiting. No, no, I'm reading the wrong place. Suratul Ma'un. Oh my God. Pardon me. Suratul Ma'un. That's where we are. Introduction and summary can be found on page 2016. Vain were worship, vain were worship without heart and soul. Vain were worship without heart and soul. Text and notes can be found in Science 1 to 7 inclusive, and that will be page 2017. We go to the sign, next verse rather, sorry, next verse, which is next chapter. We go to the next chapter, which is chapter 108. And 108 is Surah Al-Kawthar, abundance. Kawthar. It comes from the word kathirun, plenty or abundance. So Surah Al-Kawthar, abundance. This can be found on introduction and summary can be found on page 2018. Under it, fountain of blessings. Fountain of blessings. So when we say abundant, we are not talking of abundant wealth. Blessings. Fountain of blessings, uh, semicolon. Turn in devotion and sacrifice to God. Turn in devotion and sacrifice to God. Text and notes can be found in one in Science 1 to 3 on page 2019. Like I say, most Muslims, even beginners, can recite these chapters. They are very short and they're convenient for prayers. And that's Kawthar. The next, we have Surah Al-Kafirun. Surah Al-Kafirun is hypocrites. The hypocrites. And that's chapter 109. 109. Oh, I'm sorry, hypocrites is rather munafiqun. It's rather those who reject faith. Uh, those who reject faith. That's kafirun. Pardon me. Those who reject faith. That's kafirun. Surah 109. Introduction and summary can be found on page 2020. Under it, faith holds fast to truth. Faith holds fast to truth and cannot be forced. Yes. Text and notes can be found in sign 1 to 6, from sign 1 to 6 inclusive. And that will be on page 2021 to 2021. I love that faith holds fast to truth. Once you are faithful, you must hold truth very, very, very strongly. And anybody going to against the truth, you will go against that person with all your might possible. And that was Kafirun. We go to Surah Al-Nasr, and Nasr means help. Mm. Uh, that's chapter 110. Chapter 110. Yes, Al-Nasr. uh, Introduction and summary can be found on page 2023. Help of God and victory. Praise the Lord. Help of God and victory. Semicolon. Praise the Lord. Text and notes can be found on Science 1 to 3. In Science 1 to 3 on pages 2024. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. That's all. That's help. Or some say victory. Because when you are sure of victory, you are going to get help from God. Mm. So Al-Nasr means help, help from God, help from God. We go to the next sign, 110. Mm. Al-Masad, mm. Al-Masad, 111. Al-Masad is the flame, the twisted rope, the flame, the twisted rope. That's Al-Masad. Mm. Chapter 111. Introduction and summary can be found on page 2025. Mm. Curses and spite recoil on their authors. Curses and spite will recoil on their authors. Text and notes will be found in sign 1 up to in science 1 up to 5. Mm. And this can be found on page 2026. Mm. We go to the next chapter, which is a class, and that is sign 112. That's sign 1112. Sign 112. A class, and that is purity of faith. Purity of faith is devoted solely to the prophet. Mm. Purity of faith. I think the last three verses are devoted to the to God rather, sorry, to God. The last three surahs are devoted to God specifically and God alone. Mm. So Al-Ikhlas, purity of faith, 112, chapter 112. Mm. Introduction and summary can be found on page 2027. And I read, pure doctrine of unity, pure doctrine of unity. Text and notes can be found in science 1 to 4, inclusive. Page can be found on, and this can be found on page 2028. From there, we go to Surat al Falak, and Surat al Falak is dawn, dawn. But in Arabic, it is the dawn. So the door is the word there is in brackets. Mm. So Surat al Falak is Surah 113, and it is dawn. Al Falak. Introduction and summary can be found on page 2029. Then we have Al Falak continued. With God, seek refuge from all outer ill. With God, seek refuge from all outer ill. Text and notes can be found in Science 1 to 5 on pages 2023 to 2021. Pardon me. We go to the last chapter of the Quran, Surah An-Nas, people, Surah An-Nas, people or mankind. Mm. Surah An-Nas, mankind. Mm. Introduction and notes can be found on page 2023. Mm. Then under it we have, with God, seek refuge from all inner ill. It's like the previous chapter, with God, seek refuge from all inner ill. Text and notes can be found in Science 1 to 6. Mm. And that will be pages 2033 or 2033 to 2034. 2034. And that is all. Pardon me. I have to continue because I don't know when this school will leave me alone. Mm. And I don't want to have any break. I don't want to break. Uh, so that is the end. Surat Nas, with God seek refuge from all inner ills. It's like the previous chapter 113. Also, with God seek refuge from all outer ills. Oh, I see. The other one is outer ills. Surah Al Falak. With God, seek refuge from all outer ills. Then Surah Nas, with God, seek refuge from all inner ill. So outer ill and then inner ill. And that's the end of the chapters. Uh, the chapters end with science of Surah chapter 1, 1, 4. And that is all. But then we then have the index. Mm. The index can be found on page 2035 to 2087. I don't know if it's necessary to read the index 2035 to 2035. 2035. 2035. 2035. 2035. Yes. Uh, I'll ponder over it. I don't know if it's necessary reading it because the index only tells us where to find certain or where to find certain verses in the Quran. Hmm? When I say certain verses, I mean certain subjects. You need to know what is the subject matter of something. You have to look for this page and that verse and whatnot. Hmm. For instance, if you want to find out Aaron, where can Aaron be found? Which pages? They are there in the index. Mm. Uh, and you can see the pages are many. 2035 to 2045 makes it about 40 pages. About, because we have 35 to 44, 54, 64, 74, 84, almost 50 pages for that. Uh, if we are doing it, it probably is more or less for my own good and for the good of people who have this version of the Quran. And I think for that reason, we will go there. I think so. No matter how slow we go, mm, time is with God. All the time we are using does not belong to us, but with God. So we'll go to the index, and who knows, one day one of you may like to, or may, one of you may be able to get this uh, version of Quran and use it apart from me. So that's all. We end here, and when we come back, probably we will go to the index. And like I say, I'll ponder over it. I think we will. Thank you very much. Illa leka, bye bye, au revoir. May God be with you all.